Hey there! My name is Brennan Howe, and welcome back to my Making a Game series. In the last episode, we made a level progress bar and a level score bar. So now we can see, as we increase our score, we can slowly see how much we have out of how much we need. Also, it transitions from a nice red to yellow to green as we slowly get more closer to our required score amount. We also have a level progress bar, so we can see how close we are to the end of the level as we're going through it. Alright, so cool. Now, at this point, our level template is more or less complete, so you can start actually making levels. Now that we can do that, however, we are going to make a level select first and foremost. So let's do that. We already made a scene for that the continue button in our level complete screen and the quit button in our pause menu go to, this temporary level select over here. So now let's actually flesh this out with buttons and all of that stuff. So first of all, this level select text, we'll kind of put it back over at the top and then undo this rotation here. And we'll just kind of leave it like that. As well, I'm going to make it kind of yellow again. I think that looks good. Now, we're going to create the buttons of how we're going to be transitioning between our levels. So, let's go to UI, button, and now we have that. We're basically going to make sort of a grid of buttons. That'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 which will be how we go to our levels. And then later, we'll make a system of having our levels be locked or unlocked, and we'll have the buttons be disabled if that is the case. So, first, let's make this button. We'll just have the text just say 1 on it. We'll set the color to black. We can set the size of the button to be more of a square. So let's go 50-50. Don't really know how many levels that we're going to be having, so that'll change our approximate size. Since, for now, we're going to have a very few amount of levels, we'll just make it really big. And then we're going to want to increase the size of this. Whoa. Cool. To that. And then color of our button. We could make each button a different color, but I think we can go for a green here. I guess that's what we'll do. Yes. All right, so now we're going to move our button up and over to there. We're going to call this level button and make these numbers a bit better. All right, so now we're going to want to give some functionality to this. So in order to do that, we're going to need to make a script with functions that'll get called when we click on this button. So we're going to go to we're going to go and, create a new empty game object that we're going to call level manager, and then zero those out. And then we're going to create a new script called level manager that'll have all of that. C# script, level manager. All right, waiting for that to load in. And then going into it, when it loads up, I'm also going to go and add the script to our level manager right away. When it wants to do that, perfect. So now in here, we are going to make a public function that'll be called when we click on a level. So public void, I guess, go to level. And then we're going to need an int for the level that we'll be going to. So int, I guess since all our scene names will just be level 1, level 2, level 3, etc., we'll just call this an int level. And then we're going to go and so that we can transition between scenes at the top, go using Unity Engine .scene management. When we also deal with whether a level is locked or unlocked, we can do this sort of stuff in here. So yeah, this is kind of similar to some of the other level transitioning scripts that we've written. But again, when we flesh things out, they have the potential to be different. So we're going to have them be different just so it'll be easier to do that when we get to more polishing down the road. So now we're going to go to scene manager dot load scene, a string, a string that's going to be level level space and then plus our level. So level 1, level 2, and so on. All right, that should basically be it, I believe, for now. So now if we go up to here, level button, now hitting the plus icon there, level manager, dragging that in, and then our function going to go to level, and we'll set this to 1 as default. Now we have our level template here. That has been what we've been working on. I'm going to temporarily rename this to just level 1, and then we're going to duplicate it into a level 2. Oh, the naming kind of was automatic. That's nice. So we'll just have 3 levels for now, and then I'm just gonna slightly change things just so that we know that the levels have changed. So level 1 will have looked the exact same. I'm just gonna do some rough things just so we know it's different. These are gonna be moved way off to the side, way too far. It kind of breaks the level, but we know it'll be different. Just kind of doing something like that. Saving that, going to level 3. Actually, let me move the boulders as well, just so that something that we can tell that the level is different right when we first go into it. As well, I'll go in, and then level 3, I'm going to go, I'll go swap the positions of these enemies versus our boulders here. Kind of breaking these levels, but that doesn't really matter. We just want to see that these are different. These aren't the actual levels that we'll be making. So now, going to our level select, we'll also want to go down to build settings and add all these levels here. I'm also going to put level select at the top here, since this will be well, when we make a main menu, that'll be the scene that we want to load in first, and then it would be the level select, and then our actual levels. So just sort of keeping it in the order approximately that will be actually transitioning between our levels. So now we have level select here. Now this level button, I'm going to go and make it a prefab now that all that's set up. I'm also actually just going to change these transition colors just to be more apparent. I'll make this 80, and then I'll make this 50, I guess, just so we can tell between normal, highlighted, and pressed that they are different. So now we are going to make that a prefab, and then we're going to duplicate it. We'll just have 3 for the moment, and if actually that is the case, I'm going to set the Y position on both of these to 0, and then this will be 0, and then we're going to call this 2. All right, and then we're going to duplicate it again, and then make it on the other side, which this one was negative 245, so just so it's equal, this will also be 245. The actual layout of this will also change depending on when we decide how many levels we want, so we can actually assign our sort of grid. As well, there are different ways you could go about this. You could have sort of a grid style, or you could have just one thin, long sort of line, and then you switch between different worlds or whatever, or you could make an intricate like path system that the level nodes go between. Those are also options. So now, level button 1 will go to level 1, level button 2 will go to level 2, and our level button 3 will go to level 3. Also, just to kind of make these graphics look slightly more interesting, eventually we might make actual proper images for them. I just want to see what happens if I were to, well, not like that, just sort of rotate them. If I rotate it at 45 degrees and then take the actual text things and then rotate them negative 45 degrees, I'd say that looks nice, I guess. Just slightly more interesting to look at. So now let's test this out. Waiting for this to load in. Okay, it also didn't scale with the screen when we make it bigger. We're going to want to do that. So going to our canvas, a canvas scaler, we're going to want to change that from constant pixel size to scale with screen size. Now going into this, waiting just a second. And then now we should be able to click this, and boom, we go into our level 1. All right, I also still have the thing disabled that makes it so that our player can't get hit. But now we're going to go back to our level select and now go into level 2. Now everything is frozen. Now there's an interesting thing. When we pause the game, the time scale gets set to 0. When we go to our level select, it doesn't get set back to 1. So that's one thing that we're going to want to be cautious of. So now these are set to the side so we can tell we're in level 2. Going here to here, it's still frozen, but when I do that and that, now we have our level 3. So cool. Now we can have multiple levels. And then when we beat this level, then we go back to the level select, then we can hit the next level. All right, so now we have that. Now, first of all, we should go fix that pause manager problem, which will require us going to our pause manager. And when we go to scene here, we'll compensate by going time to time scale equals 1. All right, so now that's set that up. So I actually was able to get that done a lot faster than I thought I did. So I think as well, we're going to get our main menu done because I think I'll be able to do that also really quickly. So we are going to go to our level select. We'll duplicate it to make another scene that we're going to call main menu. Now we're going to go into that, and we will basically make this have a new game, continue game, and quit game button, which we're not going to code the functionality of just yet. We're going to wait until we actually code in saving. We'll just make new game and continue game will both do the same thing right now, but they will basically just transfer to our level select. So now that we're in our main menu scene, we're going to want to change these things around. So we're just going to call this main menu. Eventually we'll replace this with the name of our game, but I don't really have a name for it yet. So far I've just been calling it Space Shooter, but in an actual event that I'd be potentially selling this or something like that, or putting it on any sort of app store, I'd want to give it an actual proper title, which Space Shooter is not, a bit too generic. But let's do this anyway. So main menu, we'll also call this main menu, or title text. Should probably do the same to the level select text in the other scene. So level text, and then these buttons we aren't going to use any of them. We're actually going to create a new UI button, and then we're going to call this new game. So new, oh, not up there, over here, new game, and then we'll set the text of this also to black, and then we can set the color of the button to, I guess we can go blue, and then we can go and call it level, or new game button, and then we can change the height and width. We can make that 50 and 200, like that, and then we'll also want to adjust our text here. So I can see what happens if I make it bold, and then increase the size a bit. Maybe unbold it. Something like this. Eventually as well we could create our own font, and then that would be something that we could do. Or just find a royalty-free font on the internet. Eventually when we get to more polishing by the end of this project, we will do all of that stuff. So now we're going to want to move this up. Sorry, to 50, 100, sure. And now we're going to want to give this some functionality. So instead of our level manager, we're not going to be using that here. We're going to create an empty called main, or we'll call it menu manager. And then zero all of these out. And then we're going to then create a new script called menu manager. Create C# script menu manager, like so. Wait for that to load in, and then we'll open that up when we can. Cool. So now again we're going to create more functions, for public functions to be accessed by our buttons, and we're going to be transitioning between scenes. So again we're going to add our using Unity engine dot scene management. And now, so we're going to want to go public void new game, and then we're going to want a public void continue game. And at the moment these are both going to do the same thing, but when we deal with saving and all that, these will be the difference between loading in our save file, which I'll show you how to do that later. We're going to be doing that basically by saving a text file, but encrypting it so it's not as easily editable. So then we're also going to want a function to quit the game as well. So public void quit. Not on application quit, just normal quit, and like that. Now, right away, we can program this. So if we go scene manager dot quit, Is that the function? No, it's application.quit, if I remember correctly. Yes. So application.quit, that will quit the game. Now, this won't work in the Unity editor because we're in the Unity editor, but just, I guess, trust that when we actually make this into its own executable file, that this will quit that. So now in both new game and continue game, for now, both of them will just go scene manager.load scene, level select. Yeah, so this will do the same thing for both of them, but eventually when we deal with saving, then there will be some differences to these. All right, so now waiting for that to load. So now we have our new game button. Now we're going to hit new there. We're also going to want to drag in our menu manager here. Going to our new game button, then dragging in the main menu or the main menu manager there, then going down menu manager and new game, and then duplicating it. Whoa. Duplicating it, moving it to a position of 0, and then going to menu manager and changing that to continue game, and then we'll also change the name and all of that. Continue. Whoa. Continue. Continue game button. Continue game button. And then we will change the name, except this I think I'll just have it say continue. Continue. Like that. And then we can change the... Yeah. Then we can change the name of the button to... Or sorry, the color of the button to... I guess we can go green. And then we can have a quit button that is red. So then now we'll have... Quit game button. And then we'll change the color of that to red. And then change this to quit. And then down here, we'll set this to like -100. All right, and then we'll also want to change the name of it to quit game. Whoa. Whoa. Over here, quit game. Like so. All right, so now also we can just add a slight bit of pizzazz. I can take this and maybe move it over here, and then I could take this and move it over here. This also might get changed up a bit again when we add more graphics to it, but for now this works as well. I think I might go and try something. To have a sort of background to this, I'm going to go into our level scenes, and we can take our background wherever it was under turn pivot, our background. I think I might go and copy this, and then we can put it in both our main menu and our level select, and then just add some more stuff into our backgrounds here. We also don't need our... Oh, no, so yeah, just the background and star. Both of them are in there. Cool. As well, I'm going to go put it in the level select, and then also take this chance to rename this to level select text. I'm also just going to get rid of the exclamation mark there. We can make it a bit bigger and move it down, and then 40, -30. Cool. Actually, maybe -20. That's fine. Then back to our main menu. I might also make this text here a lot bigger. 50. Well, then we'll have to increase the width and height there, just to sort of account for that, and zero that out. Cool. I also, because these are the only things on screen, I'm going to increase their sizes as well, like that, and then also maybe have this be further to the side, so maybe -200, -200, no, maybe -150, and then here to +150. There we go. Also, I'm going to move them. Yeah, this looks fine. So now I'm just going to run it and test if all of this actually works. So now we should have our background doesn't work at all. That's fun. That would be because of just the camera not having the same orientation as it did in the other levels. So I think it had a -90-degree tilt on the x-axis, and now it should be facing... Nope. Let me go to here and test 0. Oh, just proper 90. There we go. So now we have that. Maybe I could also rotate it so it's coming at like an angle, and maybe the opposite angle as we have that. So there. Now we can set that to -45. Cool. I'm also just going to go and copy this. We also don't need these to be set, so I'm going to go and copy its component, go out of play mode, and then paste that in there. Save that, and then I'm going to go to the level select and do the same thing. Paste component values. Also, the space color background seems to be different, so I just want to make that the same as well. So finding our camera, which was under here, main camera, this, I'm just going to copy its hexadecimal value there, go to our level select, and then paste that in there for both of them, just so it's consistent. That's also assuming that we do have a space background in here by the end. For now, it's easy to set up since we already kind of have a space background set up. But if we were to make actual story for this, and who knows what that could be, then you could have maybe like a close-up model of the player's ship, or like a planet, or who knows what. So now running this, we should have that set up. Cool. So now hitting new game. Now we have our level select here, and also just more slightly changing things. I'm going to change the background here. This from being -45 will make it the other 45. So now, main menu here, hitting play. Also going into maximize on play. All right, so we got this set up. So we have our new game, continue and quick game button. New game goes to our level select, hitting 1, goes into this level. Then this goes into our second level. Level select, this goes into our third level. All right, we also don't have any way of going from the level select back to our main menu, so I'm just going to add a quick quit button to that. So I'm going to copy our quick game button there, and actually one other thing I'd like to do is change our highlight color and press color like what I did before. So I'm going to change that to, I guess, 70 and 40. I think those values work better. Then back to our level select, and I'm going to paste in our quit button if it wants to come in. Okay, maybe not. So I'll go back to our level select, find it again, copy it, going back to our level select, then into our canvas and pasting that in under our canvas. And then now I'm just going to move it to the bottom right and have it be really small, and it'll look the same. It'll say quit, or maybe it'll say back, and then this will just go back to the main menu, so we'll have to write code for that. Yeah, so I'm going to make this really small then, maybe 100, and then I guess the 50 works. Just moving that like so. Just a quick back button, and then making these better numbers. All right, so now we have that, and going back to our level manager, we're going to want to write a quick function to do that. So back to our level manager, we have go to level, then here I'll go public void, I guess public void back, and then that'll just go to our main menu, and then might also deal with saving. Actually, I think when we actually save, it'll be every time we beat a level, and when it actually matters with unlocking new levels and all that. So main menu. All right, so now just testing that just to make sure that it works in a second. So now we have a back button, and it doesn't work because we haven't actually set it up properly. So we want to bring back in our level manager here, and then as a function, this back function. Alrighty then. Boom. Main menu. Oh, right. Another thing that's important to do, we're going to want to actually have our main menu be in here. And now, since also our main menu is the function, or is the scene that we want to be the first scene that we load into, we want that to be at the top of our list here. So now going into this in a second. So now this back button works, continue button works, and quit game, just trusting that that will quit the scene when we actually build this into its own application. Alrighty then. So, oh, as well, actually while I'm here, I just want to try one other little thing. With our main menu, the way that our main menu text, one way that we can quickly add some pizzazz to it, I'm going to duplicate it and put it right under. And then I'm going to set this color to black. Oh, that's an interesting effect. Not what I was going for. Actually, I was going to put this on the other side. And then if we go and just move it down a small bit, and then maybe move it forward a little bit, bam, we kind of got what looks like a drop shadow, and that just sort of adds... what happens if we make it like italic? That's an interesting effect. If we bold and italic, sort of. Anyway, so we can do that, and just, I don't know, it looks slightly better. I'm actually just curious now what happens if... I just want to see what happens if we do it to our text buttons there. So we duplicated those, and actually if we set this to white and move it up... Hold up, wait, these are... Okay, if we move this -5 and then -5... Ah, there, we have an interesting effect going on there, except those aren't the ones I want to change. I want to change the other ones, not the... I want to move the drop shadows down. Maybe go 10 and 10. That kind of becomes hard to read, so maybe just 5 and 5. There, so we have an interesting effect going on there. And then I can also then make the actual color part, maybe not white, but I don't know what could look good. Double black, that doesn't white work. I don't think any color along here will be nice. We can just stick with white, that's fine. So now we also have some slight more effects there. And I'm also going to go and do the same to our level select up here. So canvas, level select text, and we're going to duplicate that, move it to the top, and then setting it to black, and then we're going to move it down by 5 and over to the right by 5. And then we can also do it to our buttons in here. Boom, and then moving it... Oh, I won't be able to easily move it to the top there. I'll just move these ones. So change that to white. No, change those ones to black. The other ones to white. Then move these down 5 over 5. So 5 and 5. We're also going to have to do a bunch of renaming. I guess renaming to text and then text drop shadow. I'll do that between videos just to make things easier. And that did not move in the direction I thought it would. Right, the tilt, that's probably affecting things. So actually, not that way. Just find the direction that we want. Oh, we can just go like that. Just moving it that way by 10. Alrighty then. So now we have that cool effect. Rename all those later. So, alright. I think that'll then be it for this episode. No, it won't. I'm going to do it. I forgot the quit button down here. So here, just a quick little this and this down 5 over 5, 5 and 5. Yes. Alright. So now we got all that working. So we have a main menu and a level select that have functionality. They don't look too pretty yet, but we will handle that in time. But for now, they work. So that'll do it for this episode. Next time, we will do some slight more polishing with our actual levels. So we're actually going to probably delete this level 2, level 3, go back to just handling a level template. And we're going to add in some explosions, I think. Mainly for when things explode. We're, going to make a simple explosion for all of our different things here. And most of them will probably look the same, but just different colored based on the thing that's exploding. But yeah, we will handle that then. Alright, so that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a good day!